Esteemed board members, emotional intelligence is the subject of our presentation this evening. We will discuss emotional intelligence and its application in a business setting, and also have a discussion on whether it is necessary to implement emotional intelligence testing and training in the company's hiring and training processes. In order to provide a well-rounded discussion on the subject, Team 3 has conducted research from both viewpoints on emotional intelligence. Amanda and Carissa have researched and compiled data about emotional intelligence and its usefulness in business, while Kathy and Morgan have researched and compiled data in opposition of this opinion. We will review both sides of this subject, and in the end, the board will be able to make their own decisions about emotional intelligence and implementing it into the hiring processes of the company. Anyone can become angry. That is easy. But to be angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not easy. It has always been recognized that control of emotions is important within social relationships at all levels, especially in the workplace. Control of emotions is developed from early childhood when we move from one impulsive social actions to a more controlled state within which we are able to select and monitor our internal emotions to provide measured and appropriate responses with different social situations. Obviously, there are differences as to what is considered an appropriate response dependent on culture and time period, and also individual differences due to personality and temperament. The case for EI, an overview. In this part of the presentation, we will determine what constitutes emotional intelligence, discuss why it is important for the company, determine whether emotional intelligence can be taught, and discuss how it can be used in the company to help improve productivity. What is emotional intelligence? EI is the ability to understand one's emotions and those of people around them. The concept of EI means one has a self-awareness that enables them to recognize their own feelings as well as others. It also helps one manage their own emotions. A person with high EI is also capable of understanding the feelings of others and therefore better at handling relationships of all kinds. By having higher levels of emotional intelligence, this can help employees and managers to work better with those around them and create better job satisfaction, higher productivity, higher creativity, and citizenship behavior amongst coworkers. We can now look in more detail at emotional intelligence and use a four-branch model of EI. Emotional intelligence is comprised of four clusters of competencies that work together. Self-awareness works with self-management, and social awareness, which in turn works with capabilities in relationship management, which is a person's positive impact on others. Therefore, each of the EI competencies is important. The competencies in the self-awareness cluster are particularly important as they are the foundation of developing and sustaining EI in the long term. Examples of competencies that may fall within each cluster include self-awareness, which is self-confidence, accurate self-assessment, and emotional self-awareness. Social awareness, which is empathy, response to others, and organizational awareness. Self-management, which is adaptability, emotional self-control, positive outlook, and initiative. And relationship management, which is conflict management, inspirational leadership, influence, and teamwork. So why is EI important? Now that a basic knowledge of emotional intelligence has been established, we move on to our discussion of its importance for the company. Empirical research has shown that high EI compared to low EI individuals are all listed here. High EI individuals compared to those of low EI are able to work better in teams, create and maintain interpersonal relationships, have more positive effect, positive mood, behaviors at work, have fewer unauthorized absences and exclusion from school or work, are more likely to have higher profitability, more likely to have organizational loyalty, have higher self-confidence in their work, higher creativity levels, and better quality friendships and work relationships. Can we change EI? Yes, emotional intelligence can be taught and can be effective if encouraged to be used in the workplace by management. Implementing emotional intelligence. On this slide taken from www.eiconsortium.org in an article called Bringing Emotional Intelligence to the Workplace, It is shown that emotional intelligence can be implemented into the workplace over time and with lots of patience. The flowchart suggests that there are 4 basic phases to the training process. The first occurs before the individual begins formal training. This initial phase, which is crucial for effective social and emotional learning, involves preparation for change. This preparation occurs at both the organizational and individual levels. The second phase, training, covers the change process itself. It includes the processes that help people change the way in which they view the world and deal with its social and emotional demands. The third phase, transfer and maintenance, addresses what happens following the formal training experience. The final phase involves evaluation. Given the current state of knowledge about social and emotional learning, the complexity of programs designed to promote such learning, and the great unevenness in the effectiveness of existing programs, evaluation always should be part of the process. We move on to the case against emotional intelligence. Will EI benefit the company? Is EI worth the trouble? Possible problems with implementation of EI training and a backlash of EI training. Would emotional intelligence training benefit all businesses? In a small business, or a type of business where there is a high turnover rate among staff, emotional intelligence could be a colossal waste of time and money. What kinds of businesses would not benefit from using emotional intelligence training? Examples would include restaurants, department chain stores, mom-and-pop shops with few employees, and small businesses where they hire unskilled or low-skilled workers to handle the large percentage of work. Is EI training worth the trouble? Most young people new to the workforce would probably be the most willing people to give emotional intelligence a try. With no bad experiences to deal with, they would be more open-minded and open to new possibilities and procedures. But handled correctly, with trainers and management aware of where the problems could be, yes, with time, effort, and resources, such training could work for businesses. One has to keep in mind, however, that such drastic changes can be unsettling for many, and certainly can be expensive as well. For a small business, the owners and managers would have to carefully weigh the pros and cons of such training. Possible problems. The problems with emotional intelligence training would most likely come from older, more experienced workers who would have trouble comprehending what the program is about. Without clear defining goals, they would most likely flounder as they fought to understand a program that runs completely counter to anything they've ever experienced. Experience versus inexperience. What would the responses be? An older, more experienced worker could find themselves possibly segregated from the younger workers if steps are not taken to better explain how new processes could help make their work easier. To younger workers new to the workforce, the new training is something different, and they'll be more accepting as they realize how it could change things for the better. Experienced workers could feel confused, fearful, deserted, paranoid, angry, or threatened, while younger workers could feel excited, empowered, enthusiastic, and accepting. In conclusion, EI can either increase productivity, increase creativity and innovation, increase citizenship behavior, or necessitate extra time, effort, and resources, cause confusion and frustration for old hires, lack benefits for high turnover companies. Therefore, it is up to you, the board members, to decide which case has been made and which decision about emotional intelligence training is best for the company. Thank you very much for your time this evening. If you have any more questions, please feel free to ask.